grab seats. And if there's anyone out there that is not here that should be, feel free to grab them, especially Magi. Okay, but it is important for all the priest types as well, and also actually everyone who's a hybrid. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, because we're going to go through a few things today. Cantrips is the prime, okay, and it is important. If your sim leader or guild lead is not here and they can't make it, because then they should send a representative. Unless you're one of them, hey, how about that? But if they can make it, you know, drag them all over. Because what we're going to talk about today are some very important things that I have discovered that have been omitted from everyone's education, and not through any direct fault of anyone's, and they just didn't really understand the concept. So we had a chat at the last Archmage meeting, and I was like, okay, I'll be going through this. And not only will it touch cantrips, which obviously is the case, but it's going to give some aid in your 0 level warriors, rogues, etc., as well. 0 level abilities, okay? That's what cantrips are, 0 level spells. So I will be touching on 0 level abilities as well, because this is to help you initiate new players into your guilds and lets them know what they can do before they can actually get out there and do combat. Okay, it will, in the long run, be quite helpful. Okay. So, without further ado, looks like we've got a decent number of people here so far. But if there's anyone out there that should be here, go ahead and grab them. I know that the White Master Apprentice, she must have crashed because she was going to come here. She was going to be here. But hey, you can't control the universe, right? It has no pause button. Okay. And Pellinor, I was going to drag her over here. I can't see if she made it, but someone drag her over here if they do be so very kind. Because as Paladin lead, that's extremely important that she be here. Knowledge is power, people. It is. Okay. So, let us begin here. Cantrips, 0 level abilities. Okay? 0 level spells. And they're something that people don't understand is they cover the gambit. Okay? So even though you don't learn to specialize until third level, I think, across, generally speaking, might be second. Um, but you zero level in the beginning. That's where you learn. That's where you learn what these are and how you know where you're going with it. You know what are you going to do? How are you supposed to know what you like if you have never had a taste of it? You walk into Olive Garden, or just off the top of my head, you know they've got all these taster platters, right? You know, for people who've never been there, right? And many places have them. I just throws them off the top of my head. Uh, I don't remember what they're called, but they're basically variety platters. Okay, it gives you an idea of where you're going and what you're doing. That was very fayish things to say. I'm totally surprised that every Fey in the room did not respond to that one. Master Apprentice of all. But like not every Fey in the room. And he is a burial, so he just happens to have Fey tendency, obviously. Anyway, certainly, Jaluk Starbinder, were you raising your hand saying you're a Fey, or do you have a question already? Go ahead. What's your question? Both of you are correct. You know. But I don't go around tasting everybody I meet. I do kiss a lot of hands, but that's because I'm a gentleman. Could that be considered taste testing? I don't know. Maybe. All right. In that case, I'm guilty. Okay. Let me get into it and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay. So cantrips. Um, they cover every school. Okay. But they don't actually do damage. Okay. Uh, let's say, for example, let's use an evocation one. Some people are familiar with the spell Shocking Grasp, right? It is basically a miniature lightning bolt. You know, Shocking Grasp, the name of that spell. Basically, no miniature lightning bolt. Well, there is a cantrip, an evocation cantrip, okay, that I like to call Static Shock. Cantrip is a zero level spell. It's a precursor to spells. So the the static shock, basically you get an electric shock that runs through someone. It's not actually going to cause them damage, okay, but it is going to have some effect. Cantrips generally, what's the best way to put this? They're not going to be on the meter. Okay, because they don't cause damage. Okay, but so they are essentially cantrips and zero level abilities across the board are essentially role play abilities that you have because you have learned to do that. Okay. Jill Rose, you had a question. Yes, of course. I mean, it has to be a class that you are working on. Okay. Like, generally speaking, most people consider cantrips to be magi, but that is not entirely across true. Uh, priest classes have cantrips as well. You know, they fall in the school or sphere that you are learning. Okay, it's zero. Like I said, these are zero levels, so it's the beginning. Okay, and it's an introduction to everyone. I just gave you an example of evocation. Okay, an example of necromancy. Okay, would be like haunt. Okay, so a disembodied entity that cannot attack or do damage or anything uh, appears and goes ooh someone, okay, and or what have you, whatever you want it to do. Yes, Jalil Webb, you have a question. Let me. I'll get back to you. To look Dark Watch. That is exactly what we're talking about right here. Is that this is the variety plate that you get when you enter into it, because you are learning. You've got to learn what a thing is before you know that you need to specialize in it. You know, you won't learn illusion in depth until you hit what, third level, but you get a taste of illusion magic in the beginning. Okay, in your cantrips, because how else are you going to know where you're going? Thank you, Dilla Webb. Yes, clerical cantrips are not actually going to affect the meter. Also, they're going to be small things like blessing holy water or um, blessing a holy symbol or uh, the ability to, when you're cutting down that mistletoe in the woods, to make it sacred instead of just like Billy Bob walking down the street and cutting down some mistletoe. Does everyone hear me right? Is it everyone can hear me right? Okay, so it's okay. Okay, all right. Actually, to warm a a cup of tea would definitely be a potential cantrip. Okay, it depending on your deity. Okay, I sound like I'm in a tunnel. Well, I'm not. So I know that Angela McTavish said she's having the same problem. But if it's just the two of you, maybe you guys should relog. You know? But again, there are cantrips for every single sphere and every single school. Okay? So just because you haven't been introduced into it yet, like illusion magic, in case as the Luke Darkwatch was bringing up, just because you've not been taught how to in depth go into illusion magic, in the beginning you are given a pastry platter by your guild lead, and if you're the guild lead, then throw this into your training. That's one of the reasons why we're here today. Is to introduce your people to what is in store. Okay? Not everyone is going to know everything that there is to know. Some people will, and that's all good. But don't assume it, you know. Realize that cantrips are this tiny little thing. Also, keep in mind as well, cantrips and your zero level abilities are ones that you get to keep and maintain when you decide to, if you decide to cross train and go Paragon. These are the abilities that you get to maintain and utilize because they don't do damage across the board. Like lighting a candle, okay? Or prestidigitation, which is a little tiny rain cloud. Okay? Little tiny, little tiny non-damaging abilities. Summoning, you'll get like bugs, a bug or a spider, a cricket or something like that. That's your introduction to summoning. So when you're in the beginning, when you're giving out that when you're giving out that variety platter, keep that in mind. That there'll be a little bit excuse me, stupid pills I'm on give me a reflux like, nope, not awesome. Okay, but yes, summoning a good one would be spider. There are so many possibilities, and if you're in the room, right? Master Apprentice of all. Yes. I believe you have a base list that we looked at the other day. You have that on you? I know that pretty much everyone in that meeting has that list, but it gives a general idea. It's not every possibility, okay? But it is a very good one, okay? It is a good thing. Like yes, Jaluk Branokas. I have them for mages and priests. I think the one that that he has is just the mage one, and we'll talk about priest ones right now. As a matter of fact, I'm about to say, okay. Okay, thank you for asking that question. Um, as you go up in level, then they become more and more effortless. Okay, just like expertise. Okay, when you get good at a thing, you can do it with less and less effort. In the beginning, okay, at 0 level, casting a cantrip is as difficult as throwing a spell. Okay, but by the time you're 3rd level, it's almost second nature. In fact, across the board, you lose 1 requirement every 3 levels. Right. Now, what I mean by that is, for spellcasting, you have you have verbal, semantic, and material. Every 3 levels, one of those drops off. Okay? So, for a 0 level spell, which are cantrips, that means at 3rd level, then you only have to use 2 of those. Okay? The 3rd one, you've gotten so good at it that it drops off. Now, it has to be one that you've been using, obviously. I mean, if you constantly you like to walk around and static shock people so that they jump and go, ooh! Then by the time you're at 3rd level, you're going to be good at that. Probably you're going to be smacked upside the head a lot too. Keep that in mind. But hey, yes, Jill Rose. I'm just about ready to throw out a priest one here. So, but I'll go ahead and take your question before I throw this priest one out. Yes, it does. It applies to higher level spells too. Every 3 levels. So, a 1st level spell, but when you're 4th level and you're casting a 1st level spell that you've been casting a lot, you do it a lot. It's one you're really good at. You drop off one of those components because you got so good at it. Okay? Do you see what I'm saying? But it has to, have to be 3 levels above that. So a 1st level spell at 4th level, you can drop off one of the components. And I apologize that not everybody's thrown that out there. We did talk about that at our last mage meeting. Okay. Beladas, I do have it, and I will go through that a little bit. But before there are so many things to touch on. Okay, so little by little. The most important priest cantrip, okay? Spare the dying, okay? Spare the dying. If it is a clerical cantrip, you throw that onto a character who's bleeding out. They have 0 hit points, right? And that stops them from going down further, right? Death is negative 10 hit points, right? Or is it negative 25 now? So Depends on the meters. Meters have sometimes throw that. They go back and forth. But anyway, regardless, it's probably the most important clerical cantrip. Okay? Now, is it by. It is certainly not the only one, but it is definitely the most important in my mind. Sorry, old players asking about coming back. Tell them, of course, you can come back if you want. All good. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. That is divine magic. Okay. So it makes sense that it could be for all. And yes, it is for all. Okay. Any divine caster can possibly utilize that spell. Do we have any bards in the room? Jill, all right. We do have some. Bard, the most common, it's pretty good, especially at bar fight. The most common bard cantrip is mockery. Okay? And that's basically the magical ability to make people get mad at you, taunt them, so they attack you. Okay, it's kind of important in some sorts and uh, some situations. Okay, so it's not just mages, right? You know, bards dabble. Okay, okay. Any questions so far? Yes, Jaluk Starbinder. Uh, this one that you just dropped me is decent, but is not the one I was looking for. Um, when I was looking for it was a little bit more specific. I know it's in my inventory somewhere. A minute. No problem. Then I will. I'm gonna find it in just a second here. So you're asking, is it possible that some particular people or races can be immune to cantrips but not other level spells? Well, as you increase in level, it is possible to become resistant and maybe even immune to one you use all the time. All right, like I was talking about expertise earlier. That by a 0 level spell, when you hit 3rd level, you can use that spell with only 2 of the requirements instead of 3. Well, it is possible also at that point that you start gaining some resistance to that spell. Okay, because you're so used to it, you start getting, you start recognizing it when it happens. Okay. But that's a slippery slope there, because you do develop some. Yes, exactly. Mage Hunter has some spell resistance. But so that's kind of a slippery slope. So you got to keep in mind that is not a large amount. It's not like I'm saying, not like you become immune to a cantrip when by the time you're at 5th level. Not like that. It's more like at 3rd you get a 10% immunity. At 4th you got 20%, and then at 5th guild lead you got 30%, which is a lot, but it's not completely immune. Okay? Does that make sense to you? All right, most excellent. Yes, Jalil's shadow. Here's the list I was looking for. He he he. All right, I've got it right here. I'm gonna drop this. Uh, the, the, uh, the person, Jill. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm sure. Jill Miserum happens to be the nearest person to my avatar on my screen, so I'm dropping it to you. And if you would be so very kind as to pass that to the rest of the class. Have a look at what's being sent. Okay, that is a mage one, not a clerical one. Okay, she's gonna drop that out to all the peoples, and in answer to, is there a clerical list? Yes, there are. There are clerical lists. Um, the problem, by the way, with looking up using your 3.5 or no, what is it, 5th edition now? The problem with looking up 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons cantrips, okay, just so you all know before you even start looking at it. The problem with them is that most of those are actual spells, okay? They put shocking grasp rather than static shock as a cantrip, okay? Cantrip shouldn't do damage, okay? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Why put shocking grasp in there when you cantrips don't do damage, and shocking grasp definitely does damage. It's a miniature lightning bolt, but on the bright side, it does give you a springboard, okay, and gives you an idea of where to go with it. Here's another one. Okay, 1 second, Jill Roxley. I'm going to answer. Oh, yes, exactly. Our setting does not allow for damage cantrips. You got to keep that in mind when you're working on. Okay, so another one for priests. Okay, all the different types of priests, not just clerics. Another one for priests is mending. Okay, and it is an awesome cantrip. Now, you may ask, well, what does mending do? Well, it's, let's say you get stabbed in your chest. You get stabbed in the chest. All right. Well, you got to yank off that armor and bind that wound, which you're going to use. You don't have magic yet, as far as healing goes, but you can bind the wound because obviously you need to be learning how to bind wounds. Well, mending that fixes a hole in the armor. Okay, that blade made. Okay, mending repairs things. It could be so very simple as you're walking through the woods and you see that somebody broke a branch off your favorite tree, and it's just hanging there, being all limp and stuff. You can hang it back up and hit mending on it, and bam, you're good. Okay, mending is very important. It's a great um, priest spell. You know, paladins. Okay, that's one of the reasons why I try to drag Pelennor over here, but she must have been AFK or something. That is like a #1 paladin cantrip that you must have. It's like top of the list there. All right, I'll get Jill Roxley had a question first, and then I'll get you. Well, she asked first. It's not a priority thing, you know. I'm a first come first serve kind of guy. Yes, you can look at Dungeons and Dragons and get an idea of how cantrips work. Okay, just remember, don't copy paste because you can't use the damage, and some of those have been written to be like first level spells or even more so. Okay, so just when you look at it, say, all right, this would make a cool This is a cool cantrip, but that just doesn't look like it'll fit in our game. That seems like a little OP for a 0 level spell. 0 level spell. Repeat after me. 0 level spell. So, but yeah, you can do that. It's perfectly fine. Okay? You can look at them and look at cantrips. The low web. Yes, absolutely, 100%. Mending works on dishes and silverware and all the things. Okay? A little air. What is your question? Having mending ability and being in the bartend and working the lion's head, shoot. Also clean is another cantrip. Okay, so shoot, excellent use of an ability, and it's called clean, not cleaning, but yeah, that's fine. Um, and sharpen is a cantrip. Okay, but anyway, Jilla air. Two. Another cantrip is called dust, and I've only recently, even after all these many years, started actually dusting my house. I'm terrible, terrible. And if I had dust cantrip, that'd be bomb. Sneeze is also a cantrip, by the way. Um, okay, cantrips. Yeah, once you learn your cantrips, you have them. Okay, you get to cantrips are something that actually you get to maintain if you jump classes. Okay, uh, yeah, you have to, in order to learn cantrips, you have to become a mage, 0 level at least. You know, you have to get into the mage school, and you know, and once you're in the mage school, you get your cantrips. Now, if you jump to a different class, you lose your first level spells, but you'll maintain whatever cantrips you learn. Anyone can do them is not exactly true. You have to actually be in the be in the class. But we're talking about 0 level abilities too, not just. We'll continue further than that. The little thorn. Yes. Good. Excellent. Um, that is very well put. You know, to make a tree bear fruit, that is distinctly possible cantrip for a druid. Okay, and actually grow would be fine, but not big. Like you plant a seed and then it and you cast your cantrip on it, and the next thing you know, you got a 3-inch plant. That would work too. Okay, but you can't turn a seed into a 500-year-old oak from a cantrip. If you're on that track, it is distinctly possible. There are that is a divine cantrip, okay, but it is not the plant growth as in the 3rd level spell, which is much different. Okay, plant growth, you can make that 50-year-old oak tree. Okay, you know, cantrip you can't do that. You can make a little 3-inch, all cantrips are basically prayers. So yes, and absolutely, little Webb, you are correct on that one. Okay, comment. What's your comment? Oh, let me rephrase that. All priest cantrips are prayers. My apologies. That was, I missed a word on that one. All priest cantrips are prayers. Okay. Not mage cantrips, just priest ones. Yes, you can. You can you can play with that with cantrips because you're a priest. Yes, you get the answer. Little Roxley. And just remember, key word and key phrase, zero level spells. These are things that don't cause damage, but they're useful and, you know, important. But also keep in mind that you have a limited number of cantrips that you can learn. So you can't just say, hey, I want to learn everything, you know. Cantrips, there's a limited number of those that you can actually learn. Druids still pray, but they don't pray to a deity. All right, they are becoming, what's the best way to? You know what Taoism is? It's a religion that doesn't Taoism. Taoism, and it's pronounced Taoism, even though it's spelled with a T. All right, I'll get you this just a second, Jilla Webb. They basically pray to trees, but they don't. But they're your original tree huggers. But you don't see them saying, "Oh, mighty tree, give me this," blah 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 blah. They don't. That's not how they do it. Okay. Yes, exactly. You are imploring the elements to aid you. Yggdrasil, my favorite of all the trees. you know, you are seeking aid from whatever elements that you are working with. Does that answer your question? All right, cool. As far as how many cantrips are allowed, I think that was going to be something I was going to speak about in the end, but I answer questions, so I'm good with it. Basically, you start out with 3 cantrips, okay? When you're 0 level, whatever, you get 3 cantrips, okay? And then you get another cantrip per level after that. Right? That you can have, all right? It's not like a spell book where you can look through it and train it every day, okay? Now, yeah, so basically level 3 you get 6. Now, mages, unlike priests, can switch their cantrips out, okay? They don't have to have the same ones every day, okay? As long as they have access to them, mages can switch out every day what they get. Priests cannot. Priests, yours are permanent. You know, the ones you pick, those are the ones you get for the rest of your days. Mages, they they can switch them out. Sorcerers, just like mages, I mean not mages, just like priests, sorcerers, they don't get to switch them out either. Okay, that's what you get. What you get. Okay, and witches, the same way as sorcerers. Witches, you get what you get. You know, they don't get a change. The yes, I know witches are mages and sorcerers are mages, but they are subclasses of mages. Okay, an arcanist gets to switch them out every day. And that is correct, you know, it, nomenclature, but I try to keep it simple and call them all cantrips. Okay? That is exactly why I use the term cantrip. All right. Yes. Clerics have a fixed list. So the witches, um, bards, paladins, uh, basically everybody except arcanists. Arcanists are the only ones that do not have a fixed list. Okay? Everyone else does. Okay. So another, really, good uh, priest one. Okay. Yeah, I know I'm touching on priest a little bit more than mage right at this moment. It's because mage is so much easier. I have that list in front of me that's awesome. But I want to give you all some priest thoughts, okay, so that you understand it, okay. Another good priest one would be like guidance, okay, where you are, basically praying for directions, okay, and you're not going to get the you're not going to get like commune spell, you know, which allows you to talk to your deity or anything, but um, but the spell guidance gives you an opportunity to make a decision that's more geared towards a certain thing. Okay. Yep. It's like that, but not as deep. Okay. Whereas Ranger Druid spell, they're asking, okay, they cast a spell, they automatically know what true north is. Guidance spell is more along the lines of, um, should I go in this building or not? Wait, wait for it, wait for it. No, don't go in there. Someone will smack you in the head. Yes, it's your Luke Starbinder binder. Okay, thank you. There is a cantrip for dancing lights, and for light, it's a single little globe of light.
Mic
Okay,
off.
and it's called globe of light. Okay, rather than all the you get like 7 or 8 or whatever that jump around you. There is a cantrip called globe of light that is basically a dancing light. Jill Thorne. Well, if you are already okay, the best way as far as the druid goes, okay, as far as the druid goes, if you are already walking down a path, then it would be your first element. Like say you're a dryad, okay. Well, that means their cantrips are all going to be dryad type. They're all going to be woodsy, okay, because that's the way they're built, okay. If you are a mer and you're a druid, then they're all going to be water based because that's how they're built. If you do not have any precursor, anything that's already built in, then it can be. It doesn't all have to be your first one. If you do have something pre-built, it will all be that same one. If you don't, it can be across the board. That's still even being a flyer, that doesn't necessarily be the answer. Um, Fae, all Fae would have a precursor of air. Okay, generally speaking, not all, but using flyer as an example. But as let's say dragon, because that's you're a dragon. You do not have a precursor as a dragon, unless you're a fire dragon. If you're a red dragon would have a precursor of fire. Okay? A green dragon, such as yourself, who typically breathes poisonous gas, um, would have the a precursor of anything woodsy. Okay? Yes. Um, Actually, that is part of today, I will go ahead and touch on that. Plan on getting there. And yes, as I said, Jilla Roxley, if you have a main element, then it is your main element. you know, the standard for Fae would be air. But if you have an element, then it's your element. Okay, so let me touch on some of the other classes, okay, that we're talking about. Um, Zero level abilities. Okay, we'll go in order up there. Okay, rogues. Zero level abilities. Hide in shadows. That is the beginning of it all. Zero, hide in shadows. Okay, hide in shadows. Okay, pick locks. That's okay. Don't be sorry. hide in shadows, pick locks, and disguise. Those are your three. Those are three excellent ones that you can throw out there. Okay. They're 0 level abilities. They get better as you go up. Okay. But you notice for casters, I call them cantrips. For non-casters, I call them abilities. Okay. Warriors. Okay. Three good ones for warriors. Haunt, which you heard me. I think there's a version of that with bards. But for warriors, haunt, Taunt. Haunt. Okay. Which makes people mad at you and want to attack you. Scream, and sometimes called yell, depending on what format you want to use. It makes people run away from you. Okay? The opposite of taunt. Okay? Right? Another one is elbow smash. Okay? And those are just 3 smash, but that's good too. Those are just 3 of the ones for warrior. You know, taunt, yell, and elbow smash. Okay. All right. Let me go back to you saying, okay, Cavaliers. Okay. 3 of the possible ones for Cavalier are going to be groom, because hey, you know what? You want your horse to look good, right? Okay. And that's actually very important for a Cavalier because they're all about the looks. Okay. Groom is one of them. Another Another one is horseback riding. Yes, Minotaurs definitely groom themselves. You know, you can tell a Minotaur Cavalier as opposed to other Minotaurs because they actually comb their hair. The rest of them run around going all messed up looking with branches and hanging out in their fur and stuff. You know, dirt and stuff. Cavalier Minotaur is not going to play that game. But yes, Cavaliers groom, horseback riding, and shoeing is another 0 level ability that Cavaliers should have as well. Yes, shoeing. Basically, it's the ability to put horseshoes on your on your horse. Put horseshoes on your horse. Yeah. And if you can't do that, then you got problems. Okay? Because horses, they won't like you very long if you ride them without shoes. You can do it for a short period of time, but not very long. You know, just like think about yourself. All right, you're running around out there with no shoes on. It's okay while you're in the sand, or maybe or the mud or something. But once you start hitting those rocks or the pavement, no, It's time to put some shoes on. Yes, he's a smart man because adamantine it not only is tough, but it also has some give to it. So it's not just going to chip. It's going to have some give to it. That's why you know uh, or calcum. You don't want to. They make or calcum makes awesome hammers and maces, but they don't take an edge very well. Okay, because they don't. It doesn't have a lot of give. Adamantium, on the other hand, adamantine, adamantite, whatever, how all the different versions of the spelling, that has give. So that's why they make a better blade. Or calcum makes a better hammer, but adamantium, adamantite, etc., makes a better blade. Because it has give. Okay. Okay. So ask your questions. Okay. If something is not clicking, you're not catching how the translation comes into our world, you know, ask the questions because in order to fit something into here, okay, we have to make alterations. We do not have the same uh, we do not have the same capabilities as, let's say, Dungeons and Dragons on paper, for example. Just for example, we don't have those abilities because, first off, our levels are not the same. Okay, our damage ability to put out or take is not the same. Okay, we have a different set of parameters than, let's say, tabletop Dungeons and Dragons. It is a good. They have. There's a lot of good basis from D&D that you can use. Okay, but you can't go word for word because the parameters are completely different. Okay, I'm not saying it's like apples and potatoes, but it is kind of like apples and oranges. They're both fruits, and they both taste good, but they're not exactly the same. You know, it's not like apples and potatoes, which they're very. You can eat them both, and they both taste good, but they're not both fruits, right? No. Okay. So if if you're if you hit a wall, you're you're looking at stuff going, okay, how do I translate this? You could always ask me. If you can't see it, if you can't see the translation, I you can always ask me. Always. Okay. So, continuing forward with that. Okay. I had did that note card I gave you, Jill Misram. Did you pass that out? Okay. As far as that goes, as far as your as far as different sims and all that jazz. Yes. Okay. See, the thing is, about the road. It is the basis. It is the skeleton, okay, upon which all of the things are built. Each sim is going to have some slight, you know, the row is there. It's maintained. It's the skeleton, but they can flesh it out however they want. Okay, and your guild lead is going to be particularly uh, prolific in doing that. Okay? All right. So we touched on some priest ones. We touched on some zero level rogue, warrior. We did one for bard. Okay. Another one for bard is going to be ledger main. Okay, we'll do ranger next. Yeah, that was on my thoughts. Another one for bard is going to be like ledger main, which basically is collecting stories. Okay, and then storytelling. Okay, is another one. And then after that, um, what either singing or whatever musical instrument they play, that is also zero level ability for a bard. Okay? And you get to choose them however you want to play it. You know, if you want to choose 3 instruments and you don't want to learn how to tell stories or sing, hey, that's up to you. You know, but it's there. Okay? Ranger, okay, tracking, okay, being able to find and identify cracks is tracking. You know, so you know the difference between a wolf paw or a man's paw, man's hand. You know, by looking at him in the mud. Okay, that's ranger. Okay, tracking is one of them. Okay, um, another one for rangers is going to be weather sense. All right, so you know if it's going to be if it's going to rain, okay, or if it's going to snow. You know, you have a you know lick your finger, put it in the air, and say, all right, wind is coming from the east. Okay, that's ranger. Okay, another one for ranger also is going to be is going to be telling time. Ranger is always going to know what time it is by looking at the sky. Okay, whether it's day or night. Okay, in the day, obviously, they use the sun, but at night, they study they study the position of the stars, position of the moon, um, the the constellations, depending on the time of year it is. Ranger's always going to know what time it is. Okay? Those are 3 possible Ranger zero level abilities. Okay? Obviously, if there's a huge cloud cover, that's going to throw off the ability. But you get me, right? You know, gives you you get the idea. Okay. Any questions so far? Yes, Jill Thorne. That's a spell. That's past cantrip level. It is an excellent ability, okay? But that is past cantrip level. Be able to divine uh, through your element, like looking into the fire and seeing the future. Basically, is what you're asking about. That should be first level spell. You know, that's divination. Should be it's first level divination spell, but it is past cantrip, but it's not high. Yeah. All right, we're going to continue to roll forward, and you can keep asking questions. But I wanted to address some of the note card. Okay, Joe Rose, Eldas for your attendance. If you have any questions, you can always ask. Actually, Zuluk Devere is not entirely incorrect. There is a dig cantrip, and the component is a shovel. But it doesn't require you actually to shove it in the ground and stamp on it with your foot. You know, you can make it do itself. You can dig without that. You know, and it can be a little tiny shovel, like one of those plastic sand shovels. Mm-hmm. And then you scoop with your hand, and it makes the hole. Anyway, um, but you get the idea. So have a look at this sheet that you just got dropped, and that'll give you some ideas. Okay, like necromancy. It's listed as haunting on here. These are uh, zero level necromancy spells. Creak, footfall, groan, moan, rattle, tap, thump, whistle. Okay, those are all necromancy spells, or could be. On the other side, okay, as an illusionist, if studying, you know, thinking of it in an illusion way, you can use those same ones, okay, but instead of necromancy, you're using illusion, okay, and that's why the reason that they're listed as useful, reverse, legerdemain, blah 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 blah, is because they allow you the option of figuring out what school these are in. Yes, Joel Air. Correct. Yes, Joel Air, you are correct. It's across the. It's just easiest. It's the simplest way to do it. You are welcome to work on it. Yes, you're welcome to figure out what they are. I threw you out some some ideas, some directions, so that you can gives you knowledge, but you can work on it from there as to more, like pick locks, climb walls, you know, um, backstab. Although backstab actually causes damage, so. But sneak, I don't think we said that one yet. Sneak would definitely be one, you know. Backstab would be very difficult if you didn't sneak. So yes, answer to your question is yes. Okay, yeah, excellent choice. Very almost mandatory, especially if you're a wall climber. You know, if you have climb walls and safe wall, you should be copacetic, right? Okay, so when you look at this list, hopefully everyone has it. Does anything jump out at you? Like conjuration would be bee, bug, gnats, mouse, spider. Okay, and the list, you know, goes on. You throw me a school, and I'll tell you where it falls. Anyone's. All you. Okay, divination. Excellent. Divination. You've got distract, hide. Those are divination. Not featherfall. He was talking about featherfall is not a cantrip. He was talking about the safe fall, which is an ability. Okay? Featherfall is definitely not a cantrip. Way too awesome. For those of you who are familiar with it. Alright? Uh, throw out another one. Divination was an excellent choice. Everything else pretty obvious? Enchantment. Okay. Salt. Shine. Color. Clean. Chill. Sweeten. Freshen. Warm. Polish. Sneeze would be abjuration, or it could be alteration too. Same with belch, blink, giggle, cough, twitch, wink, yawn, scratch, nod. All the ones that say person affecting, those would fall under those would fall under alteration or abjuration. Enchantment, again, chill, clean, color, dampen, dry, dust, flavor, freshen, polish, salt, shine, spice, sweeten. Here's a necromancy one that's not under hunting. Exterminate. Yes, some of some of those could definitely be air cantrips. Okay, some of them could. Yep, that is correct. Yes, Dalek are cantrip using necromancers. You are correct. All right. So I know I have mages in this room. What school is Fireball? Correct. Bam. Yep. Good. All right. So look at this list here. Do you see any of them that you know are evocation? Yeah. Elementalist is a specialist, and they do use evocation. You're correct. Can you see which ones on here are evocation? Mopuff, that's one. Curdle, Firefinger, yes, that's right. Blue Light, so you're seeing, oh, somebody drop that to Zach, because I think he needs this sheet. Yes, Jill Roxley, I guarantee you would do that. You know, and preferably in as green of a way as you can. Okay, all right. So, all right. So you've got they gave that was evocation. Okay, illusion. There's a lot of them on here. You know, you have your visual illusions like colored lights. We talked about globe of light, dim, haze, mask, mirage, noise, rainbow, two-dimensional illusion. You could also, all the ones that under haunting, could also fall under illusion. Okay? It is. I know that not everybody. It doesn't make sense on some of the maps where some of the specialist maps. They say illusion and necromancy cannot be mixed, but I completely disagree with that. I think illusion and necromancy are brother and sister. They are parallel. And yes, this is the mage one. You can still pull it through. Spice, salt, dry, dust, clean, freshen. There's several on here that you could still use for for a druid, but this is the mage one. Okay, but it's not that you can't, because there are some on here, and I just threw out some good ones for priests. Okay, um, and just for uh, your peace of mind, I will throw out a few for druids. Okay, and like, you know, we talked about mending earlier. That's that is a that's one that could be for all priests. Okay, one resistance. Okay, would be one that would be particularly for druids. Is basically some resistance to fire or whatever. You want to walk across hot coals. Hey, Druid's your best friend there. Okay? It's a cantrip. Some resistance. It's not like you know, not like you can resist dragonfire or something with it. But you might be able to, get to the other side of that coal bed with that. Okay? And and later on you'll have access to a spell called Shillelagh. Okay? But at zero level, the zero level version is called Thorn. Okay? Basically, Shillelagh. I know it's a kind of a crazy word, you know, and it is basically that. Basically, a stick you can hit people with. All right, and yeah, she's got it. Yeah, I just threw it out there. She has the correct spelling there. Anyway, um, once you get that spell, it is a yes, like leprechauns use. It makes it so that your staff is pretty much unbreakable almost. Well, Thorn is the zero level version of that. So you can pick up a stick in the woods and it can become pretty, it'll become tough and you can use it like a iron sword, except it's made of wood. Okay? It can still break because iron can break. It's not unbreakable like Shillelagh. And it's not magic like Shillelagh. Shillelagh makes it a +1 weapon. Thorn does not. Thorn just makes a piece of wood tough enough that you can use it like a sword. That's correct. Yep. Shillelagh, casting Shillelagh on a Shillelagh is the bomb. Right. For those of you that know me, I don't think there's anybody in this room who actually knows me that. Yeah, it's a little coyote. I walk with a cane, but my cane is a walking stick. It is military grade carbon steel. Okay, with a weighted ball at the end. It is an extremely effective weapon. Okay, so shillelagh cast upon that thing would be the bomb. It can already, uh, stand 300 pounds of pressure per square inch. Cast shillelagh on it, too. I'll hold up a jet with it. But yes, um, Thorn, Thorn is like the spell Ironwood, except Ironwood is a step above that. Ironwood is a true spell, and you can use it on a bunch of trees. Thorn is one stick that you pick up, bam. Basically becomes Ironwood. Does that make sense? So those, and then of course, kind of goes without saying that Druidcraft is a zero level Druid ability too. Yeah. I would never hit anybody with my cane. Well, let me rephrase that. I would never hit anybody that didn't deserve it with my cane, and that does not include children. I'm a teacher. I wouldn't hit kids with my cane, ever. Not jewelry craft, druid craft. I apologize if they didn't come across. Druid craft, which basically means cutting out mistletoe, proper time of day, proper time of the year, um, uh, trimming ash trees so that you get it right after lightning bolt has hit it, and at midnight um, on one of the solstices. Then blah 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 blah. There's a lot more. There's a lot that goes into it, but that all falls under Druidcraft, and that is a zero level. That is a cantrip. That is a Druid cantrip. It could also be for other priest types that um, happen to be like woodsy woodworking. Might fall under those two. But specifically, since you were asking, since you're a druid and you're asking about druids, I'd go into a little of that for you. Okay. So, I know this is a lot of information and it is a lot of things to think about. And that's so throw out the things that are in your head. Right? If especially if you're struggling with the idea that some of the core elements of Dungeons and Dragons is like and how we gut them and rework them to be useful to us. Okay? Yeah, okay, great. Hey, Cantrips. Remember dancing lights? Okay? The the colored lights it has listed here, the dancing light we were talking about, globe of light a minute ago, that's a fake cantrip. Colored lights. Basically, when you look at the ones on this list that say illusionist cantrips, every one of those is a potential innate fey cantrip. Okay? And they have their own innate single cantrip that they get on top of others. And so some others, but fey types do. So you get one on top of, without even being a mage, you get one of them. And it's going to generally be one of these, there's listed here as the illusionist cantrips. Colored lights, dim, haze, mask, mirage, noise, rainbow, two-dimensional illusion. Probably, it's generally speaking, it's going to be one of those. And that is exactly true. Cantrips are spells for classes, not races. What she was asking about was the innate racial ability of Fae they have, and it could easily fall under this set, okay? Under the illusionist cantrips here. Not really that they are cantrips for them. It's an innate ability, but it gives you an idea of where to look. Okay, a little web. Oh, I know there's a parade coming up, so I'm gonna have to close this here pretty soon, guys. I want to answer as many questions as I can before I do. Um, but I know yeah, T-clip races are one. Those are excellent choices, Julia. And yes, they're very useful in non-domestic situations. Extremely, you know. All of those can be used quite well in combat. Oh, was the parade at 12? Did I keep you guys too long? Okay. Okay. I'm cutting it. Everybody can go to the parade. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was that. Didn't mean to overlap. Hopefully I gave everybody a lot to think about, and you can ask me more questions later. Okay? Bella Das, been Das for now.